John was a watchmaker with a passion for the unusual. He was always looking for new challenges, and one day he decided that he wanted to build the biggest watch in the world. He gathered all the materials he needed and set to work day and night. He was so consumed by his project that he barely ate or slept, but he was determined to see it through to the end. Finally, after many months of hard work, John's creation was complete. It was an enormous timepiece, towering over everything in his workshop. He was filled with pride as he wound it up and set the time. However, as soon as the watch began to run, John realized something was wrong. The hands were moving in the wrong direction, and instead of counting the minutes and hours, they were counting down to something unknown. John was shocked and confused, but he soon noticed that everyone around him was affected by the strange phenomenon. Time seemed to be running backwards, and people were growing younger by the second. John tried to stop the watch, but it was too late. The entire world was caught in a never-ending loop, moving further and further away from the present. John watched in horror as buildings crumbled and civilizations disappeared, all while the watch kept ticking away. Eventually, John realized that the only way to stop the madness was to destroy the watch. It was a difficult decision, but he knew it was the right thing to do. He took a deep breath and smashed the timepiece to pieces with a hammer. As soon as the watch was destroyed, time came to a halt. The world was frozen in a single moment, and everything around John was still. He looked around, trying to comprehend what had just happened, but there was no movement, no sound, no life. John felt a deep sense of guilt and regret. He had wanted to create something special, something unique, but instead, he had brought an end to time itself. He walked through the frozen world, trying to make sense of what he had done, but there was no answer. He was stuck in a world that was frozen in time, and he was the only one who was aware of it. Eventually, John came to terms with what he had done. He accepted that he was the cause of this permanent stillness, and he learned to live in a world without the passage of time. He found comfort in his solitude and focused on making the most of the frozen moment. And so, John lived out the rest of his days in a world that was frozen in time. He was never able to undo what he had done, but he learned to find peace in his permanent present.